Hello. Uh, this is Moonchild, the sketchbook right after Azul, and I feel like this is my best sketchbook today. I grew a lot. I started really working with color besides blue in earnest here, and kept on making art that meant something and exploring metaphors and stuff. As usual, I'm gonna be talking a lot, like I just did, because that's what people told me they want to hear. It's perfectly okay for you to put music on in the background. Also, the same warning of like, don't complain about the way my sketchbook is set up. I don't care what you think a sketchbook is for. Go watch the kind of content you want to see, okay? But anyway, let's start. This is from when everyone was watching. This was from when Stranger Things was really popular, when it just dropped and everyone was drawing 11. I absolutely hate it. I hate this drawing, not the show. I don't think my sketchbook turned out well, and then I thought if I put marker over it, it would save it, but it didn't. This is a color test for a piece in the sketchbook. I printed out my sketch. I took a picture of my sketch, printed it out, and painted over it to make sure I liked the palette I thought of. This was originally the first page, but the proportions are all wrong, so I took it out. I'm firmly pro ripping pages out. I know a lot of artists don't like it, but I like to be comfortable in my sketchbook. I like to be able to sift through it and only seek stuff I want to see there, you know. I keep most of the stuff I rip out for one reason or another, even if I end up using it for like a palette or something. But I keep it. I just don't like for it to be in my book. I started drawing Beyonce when the twin pictures dropped, but I didn't think it looked much like a person at all. I think the eyes look kind of beady. She looks kind of like a frog. So yeah. This is like schoolwork I put here at the time. Okay. This right here is stuff for collages that I never made. There's a charcoal drawing that I'm not gonna show you because it's bad. Those are stickers, and this was the beginning of a painting I was gonna make about a relationship I was in that I was really happy in, but then we broke up and I was just like, I don't feel this anymore, so and then I threw it in my drawer, and now it's all messed up, so I couldn't work on it again either way. Please go back. Okay, this first page, like I said, this sketchbook is named Moonchild, and like I said in my other tour, I have a theme with most of my sketchbooks. So this one, it was the main character, not the main character, it was a childlike empress from Neverending Story. She's not the main character, but she's really important. So, I drew this in color pencil, and it's really uneven in some parts, the white, because I wanted to make the white as white as possible. But then first I put another layer of color pencil here and here, but it didn't look white enough, so I put acrylic, and then it got dirty and it's like stuck to it, and now it's ugly. But I like the overall drawing, and I just kind of stopped messing with it because it got worse and worse. And I think I had a graphite drawing over here, and that's where the black parts go on. Smashing Pumpkins, one of my favorite bands. But yeah, I didn't want to draw the clothes, so I just kind of left it. Okay, straight to the important stuff. This was, I think, not my first painting. I painted something in the other one, but This was, I think, the start of the style I have today. This is a painting of Artemis, my best friend, and at the time I was really thinking about a relationship and stuff, and I thought about how there's a lot of stuff that, at the same time that there's a lot of stuff that I know about him, there's a lot of stuff he doesn't tell me, so I don't know. But not in a bad way, just like sometimes I don't know how his day is going or something. And I thought about how you only know about someone as much as they let you in vocally. At least in our case, because he lives far away from me, so we don't really have much of that option of looking at each other and just knowing anymore. But yeah, this is a really reverent piece. I absolutely love him. We've known each other for a very long time. No one knows me better than him. So yeah. So there's the welcome mat, because I feel like someone only lets you in as much as they want you to. And the key right here, because I feel like just because someone lets you in doesn't mean you're unlocking every secret they have. That's the key only they have and only they can give you. Just because someone invites you to their house doesn't mean every door is unlocked for you, you know? And I feel like that's healthy. I don't think we need to tell each other everything as people. We don't need people to know everything about us. And yeah. This I did right after. It's called Hopeless Romantic. And I had a really good idea at the time, but now I can't really express it. I don't know. It's just like, this is about how we kind of feed into our own hopes, and then we sometimes break our own hearts over it. And every flower in here has a meaning. This is another painting in, I don't know if I told you what that one was about. That one was in acrylic and watercolor. At the time, I only had 3 acrylic paints. I had magenta, process yellow, and cyan. I don't even think my blue is actually cyan. I think it's like sky blue or something. So I mixed it with my Pentel watercolors. So the consistency is kind of watercolor-ish. Like, it doesn't have as much of the shine and stuff. I also invested in some white acrylic. I didn't even have black acrylic at this point. But yeah, this one is just kind of about the expectations we make for ourselves romantically, and how we feed into that, into those daydreams, into those hopes ourselves, and we even when we know it's not gonna work out, we still do it. I have more concise notes about exactly how I felt about it at the time and why I chose to make it like this, but right now it's not occurring to me. But I really like how this palette turned out, and I really love this one. Hairstyles in my non-photo blue color pencils, I absolutely love them. Too bad they get stumpy too quickly, so it's just, it doesn't feel worth it to sharpen them because they get stumpy really quickly. But I love them. I use them a lot in this book. I was gonna make this a series. I wrote this thing about how I don't believe in the art is pain mentality anymore, and I just don't want other young artists to, because I feel like it's so harmful to us. Like, so many people don't get better because they think this is what makes their art good, you know? And it isn't. I think painting happy things is just as important, if not more. I think, what's the point of art if it doesn't make us happy? I wouldn't make art. I wouldn't start making art if it wasn't something that made me happy and something that made me proud, you know? I love this one. I love this one so much. Please appreciate this one. I love it. This was done completely in watercolor. This is called Be the Sun, Paint the Sunset. At the time, I was feeling like I was really tied to making complete pieces, and that was holding me back. And I was really tied to the blue thing, to always having my blue be the most important. And this is a metaphor you're gonna see a lot. This right here is the canary, and I feel like and I always think about how the canary is in the gold mine to warn of when the environment becomes too toxic. So I feel like my art is kind of my canary, and whenever I can't make stuff, it's just that canary right there being like, hey, something's not working. And I kind of felt like I was holding myself back a lot and kind of like tying this canary up and putting it in a cage way too small by forcing myself to paint a certain way or only paint a certain type of thing, you know? So yeah. Frida in color pencil. I did a base sketch in those non-photo blue pencils, and then I just kind of colored over it. This right here has a sticky note here because I didn't finish it because I was gonna put some blue acrylic on it because it's a companion piece to this one. I was gonna make it in this too small cage, and it was gonna be like it's gonna have badly crusted up blue dye on it. Like I just kept forcing the inspiration that hit me to look a certain way, and that was holding me back, and I ended up not making a lot of work. This is Ronnie Lessons. It was gonna be part of a series called the Shattered Hearts Club. It was kind of this idea I had about this party where everyone was just committed to accepting that sometimes bad things happen, sometimes we're sad, and they were all committed to having fun with each other and not thinking about it. And it was part way unhealthy coping mechanism and part way a support group. Yeah. So everyone was gonna have this tattooed on them, but then I didn't take it forward because I didn't feel like it was enough of a world of its own. It was just kind of scenes from a party, so it didn't really fit in my style. But I like this, and a lot of people really loved it. So yeah. This is the first drawing of 2016. I had been in an art block for a while, so I just kind of decided to draw something I knew, so I did it in graphite. This is the finished piece from that color test. Where is it? Right here. So yeah, I ended up not filling this in, but I'm going to. Someone requested for me to make this notebook, and I'm going to. I just have to scan it better and take better pictures of it, and then I'll put it up on Redbubble and fill this part because I don't like for stuff to be unfinished. Also, this is a really interesting thing because I'm really into putting details on my work. When I realize it, I've already overpainted my stuff. But this was a lesson in kind of leaving the background more abstract because it was going to be further away, and utilizing the watercolors in the way other artists actually use them, not as opaque as I usually lay them down. So yeah. I hate this. But it was just picking up color pencil. I love this picture of Freddie McCoy, so I wanted to draw it. But then I wanted to make it blue, but then I didn't want to make the hair blue because I always make the hair blue, so I made it green, and I don't know. I don't love this. I want to rip it out, but I feel like it was well executed. Something about it I don't love it. But yeah. This right here, I went to the beach, and I just had a bunch of pinup pictures saved on my phone, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a pinup mermaid. And I didn't take this sketchbook because I'm very protective of it, But I took a random toned paper sketchbook I had lying around, so yeah, that one. And this right here is a marker. I don't have brush tip markers, so I did some detail work, like I did some texture to make sure the skin was even in skin tone. This is an idea I really like, of someone just not even having a heart, just an apple for hours, just pierce through over and over, and the empty eyes, and yeah, I like it. I'm a slave to love. I love love. I hate this so much. I can't tell you how much I hate. This was the concept for a thing I actually did a lot better later on. It's called Paranoia, and at the time I was really overthinking all my relationships and how everyone felt about me. So yeah, it just felt like I wasn't seeing shit for myself. I was just kind of trusting my overthinking senses, which is never good. But yeah, I mean, I don't think was terrible. I just don't like the color mixture. It makes me feel uneasy, and that was kind of the point, but I feel like I'm too uneasy. I don't like this red. I don't know, I don't love it. And it was done very quickly too. I think it took me like an hour, because I started it really late at night, but I was like, I want to finish. I'm gonna finish, because I hadn't finished something in a while. So it's just like, nope, I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna get it done now. So yeah, I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I didn't want to, or something. By the time I wanted to fix it, I was so fed up with it, I just didn't want to look at it anymore. But it's still here because, I don't know, I felt like it was an important moment in time for me to keep going on something, even though I don't much like it, so I would finish something. So it felt important, so it's here. Ooh, what are you? This is On Top of the World, You Get Nothing Done. I love this piece. I did it while I was at my grandma's friend's house, and I don't know, I really like it. I like the idea that just everything around you, you have all these opportunities for things to be good, and you have all this talent, but you're just too stuck up in perfectionism and in wanting to do things a certain way that you kind of end up stuck and you don't feel anything. You're just kind of there thinking about all the things you should be doing, but then you aren't, because they don't feel good enough for you at the time. So yeah, this, I have mixed feelings about this. I didn't bring any of my art supplies at the time to go to I was visiting my mom, so I bought this box of crayons, and I started this drawing, and this guy looked great. And then when I went through this guy, it all went to shit for some reason. And I feel like he looks really old. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna finish it. I feel like something good could come out of this. And I wanted to use all the colors and make a rainbow, so I don't know. I ended up really liking it afterwards when I settled on something to make it mean. So yeah, I did this, and then I doodled on the other page because that was the mood for the day. I felt like I kind of ruined it, so why not ruin everything? So I was just thinking about everything. This is another drawing from my grandma's friend's house. I don't know if it was at the same occasion, I don't think it was, but I liked this. There was this picture of a model, so I drew it, and I was still thinking about how my nostalgia was kind of holding me back, so I wrote old me isn't the best me. Yeah. This was from the Meet the Artist. I was gonna draw it here, but then I didn't really like it, so this page was actually blank for a really long time, and if you look closely here, you can see the original sketch for this. But I didn't like how it turned out, and by the time I was gonna draw it, everyone was done with Inktober. Everyone was done doing the challenge. So I just kind of enlarged my original what's in my bag drawing and put it here. Yeah. This is, I don't know how to tell you this. This was inspired by an experience I had at a party. This guy, I was kind of drunk, and I kind of got with this guy, and I didn't really feel comfortable with it, but he kept insisting, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. And I don't know, I felt really dirty about it the next morning. I had the moment too, but so yeah, this is kind of when your eyes say no, and the person knows you don't want to do that, but they keep insisting, and you don't say anything, and they take that as consent, and you're just too tired to argue. So that's that. Architecture in my non-color blue pencil. A comic. Feel free to pause this and read it. I hadn't drawn in a very long time at the time I made this. I kind of wrote it out on the other page. I wasn't really planning on making a comic out of it, but then I ended up doing it, so. I just felt like I had to go back to my roots. Go back to my roots or something. So I picked up my mechanical pencil, and I just decided to make a comic about what I was feeling at the time, and how I felt like I had abandoned my sketchbook because I was so obsessed with the idea of making perfect work at all times. So yeah, I really love this comic. This was a really important milestone for me, and it got me back into making comics, and into making comics that flowed a certain way. So, like the panels look different, and it seemed exciting to me. I like it.